everybody's snapping around, seem to have a good understanding of what we're doing. You know, really pleased where we're at, and you know, fired up to continue to work and get ready for Buffalo. Thought we had a good first set of practices. You know, it was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll start again tomorrow with a Tuesday, and then have a Wednesday on Friday, and then have another Thursday practice on Saturday. So it's probably pretty confusing to you, but that's what we do, and I feel good about our preparation at this point. Question?
You talked about being aggressive on defense, and particularly looking at the secondary, encouraging those guys to try and get turnovers and make those kind of plays. How do you find the balance between being aggressive and taking risks or taking too many risks?
Well, I mean, anytime you're going to attack, you're taking a risk. So you know, that's you have to decide what you want to do. And I think in today's, you know, college football, you have to decide: are you going to be a defend team? Are you going to be an attack team? And we like to dictate to the offense rather than them be trying to prepare for us and us having to try to defend everything. So, and we're in a learning process. You know, we're still learning. We got to be explosive. We're going to blitz. It's pretty important for you to be explosive. So we're learning to do that and be able to execute those things. You got to make sure we're disciplined. We don't have mental errors and stuff like that. But you know, we're going to be we're working hard to implement what we think really fits our players and what we can do as well, because we want to be a defense that really attacks and dictates to the offense. So feel good about our development so far. You know, we'll find out. You know, you'll find out. You know, week one. You know, the main thing, we don't have you know, penalties and things like that set us back. But I've got a lot of confidence. You know, like I tell you, I like this team. I like the relationship. I think we have a very motivated team. I think our team is really together and really close. It could not have gone any better than it's gone to this point. But what's going to happen? We're going to face some adversity, and then you're going to find out exactly where you're at. So, but I've got a lot of confidence that we're going to be in good shape. You know, we've got to go out this first week and make sure that we're the team that makes the least amount of mistakes.
You talked about, you know, the fact that it's your first year. You think maybe 18 seconds in between plays is more realistic than what you would like. Some of the players have talked about maybe some of the things you've tailored to their talents. You know, for those who maybe saw Tulsa play last year, what percentage of that offense will we see this year? I mean, how long before you feel real comfortable that you can operate at that level that you did last year?
Yeah, you know, that was the fourth year, you know, so we had recruited and gotten, you know, a lot of things in place to be able to do that. I think that, you know, that's kind of part of it, is that, you know, I just don't want to force our, you know, there's a lot of pressure on our quarterback with a complete new system. And for him, you know, I just don't want him hurrying to mess up. So that's why I think we got to settle in a little bit more where his comfort zone is. And we time that every day. And I've watched it very closely. And we started off early, and we were hitting that 15-second mark with a lot more mental mistakes, a lot more putting the ball in jeopardy. So we've kind of slowed it a little bit, which is still fast. I mean, we're still pretty fast, 18 seconds. And that's from the time, you know, the 40-second clock starts. So, you know, we're snapping it, you know, around. You look at the play clock or the 40-second clock, it's going to be around 22 seconds. That's pretty fast. I mean, so. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of similarities to what we did at Tulsa, but we have adapted a lot of things. I think you're going to be able to see the similarities. I mean, but there's a lot of differences. You know, I didn't have a guy like Shanahan at Tulsa. You know, we didn't have a guy like Ray Graham. You know, so we're tailoring some things there, and we want to be a team that runs the football. You know, you're also you know, this part of the country. I've coached in this area, and I understand, you know, what you know, late October, November, and early December is like. You got to be able to run the football. Even though rain, sleet, or snow, we're going to throw the football. So I would tell you, I don't know. It's a tough question. I'd say right now, if I looked at it, it looks about probably 60% of what we did, and the rest of it we're tailoring. You know, and I think that's important, because I think that the danger is you always think you got it figured out. And then you start playing, and then you see where the problems are. Does that make sense? And I think the key is that we're adaptive, because we're kind of a creature of habit. You kind of want to, you get in a routine for 4 years, and you don't really, you've changed jobs. You know, these people, it's all new to these kids. So it's very important that we are adaptive to them. And so I'd say 60-65% is what I'd say right now.
Well, I was watching some films of it just to kind of get a flavor. I saw, I don't know, couldn't even count how many different formations and all that kind of stuff. So you're saying like 60% of
we're not running. Yeah, we're running. I mean, we were running, 87 formations, you know what I'm saying? But we didn't do that in year one. I think we're further along, but I'd say we're probably, out of all the formations that we have in our book, I'd say we're probably around 65%, and we'll build from that. I think the biggest danger is, we do this for a living, we're in here every day, and you start thinking you can do, but we just don't need to get good at a core deal. And the other thing too is that, we need to play. I think our defense has got to play well too, and give us some time to develop as well. So, we're trying not. That is a balance, and it's a tough balance because, we do have some really exciting guys that we're trying to adapt things to. So, just got to be careful not to do too much. I think probably, what I look at is that, we can probably master about 6 running plays and about 10 pass concepts. And then you throw in your specials. If you have 20 packages that you're working on, that's a lot of offense. And what makes ours neat is that then you run it out of 80 different formations. It makes it extremely complex. But also I just kind of felt like about halfway through camp that we were really stretching them too much. And so we kind of simplified it a little bit more. So that's probably what you need. So if I watch the tape, which I was watching some cut-ups yesterday on it, I'd say it's probably 65%. I just don't think we can get all that. It's impossible to do that.
This last one was the running game you talked a little bit about. Talking to Gino, some of the players, they still insist that this is going to be a power running football team. It's a misconception I guess people have. They think of high octane and throw.
Yeah, and we're going to throw the ball. I mean, in this, but we're going to take whatever they give us. I've got a lot of confidence. This is the best offensive staff that I've worked on. That's saying a lot because I've worked with some really good people. And Coach McGee and Coach Norvell have really got a mastery of what we're doing. We've got a lot of things in place, like with Coach Leftwich with the line, and he understands. So we don't have anybody really trying to learn new stuff. The only person that's been somewhat new has been Todd, and he's brought some things to it that have been good, to go develop that quarterback. So, I think that what I would tell you is in the past, we look, we were 15th in the country last year rushing the football, but we didn't have our leading rusher was our quarterback. I think we're going to be different than that. So, what I would tell you is that I think this team looks a lot more like, what our team was in 08, where we were 5th in the country, and we ran a whole bunch of lead zone and power, and I think we're going to be able to run that, and I think we got the guys to run it, and so again, the key for us, we are a run, play action, pass football team, and that's what makes everything work. So. That's what our intentions are. So we'll see what happens.
You're going to need a lot of running backs then, right? You're 2 regular guys and you're 3 freshmen.
I think that right now, if I told you, nationally Ray Graham is a major. He's the guy, and I think Zach is a great compliment to him that can do some nice things. I think Crockett is definitely going to play, and I think Corey Davis is definitely going to play. Isaac is probably the next guy, and he's developed really well also. So. I think you're going to see, what is that, 4? Is that 5?
Isaac's 5.
Well, 4 will play. Right now, in the first guy, I don't know if Isaac will be the next guy, but he has done very, very well. So you're definitely going to see all those guys. But I mean, I think too, we'll get the ball to the guys we need to get the ball to.
Anything additionally? All right, go ahead, Jason.
Todd, you mentioned the changing things to fit personnel and offense. How much did that come into play on defense? Somebody like Brandon Lindsay changing a little bit?
We really started in a certain point last spring where we were actually, if you watched last spring, we were a lot more, adapting to what they had done before, and then, Brandon wasn't able to go through spring training. We felt like we had a lot of interior defensive tackles. We didn't have a lot of defensive ends, and we had a lot of defensive tackles like Chaz, Donald, Miles. Our whole deal in tweaking our scheme has been to get those 3 guys on the field as starters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then naturally we feel like we've got depth there when you take KK and you take Ezel. I mean, you got some pretty, Hargrove. We got pretty good people. So that's kind of the how we started looking at it, and I think it derived from the spring, and we felt like we've got a system that fits our strengths. So that's kind of how we've really spent a lot of time adapting that. And then I see our corners and how they play. I think Reed has really developed himself, and I think K1, I think both those guys could be really, you know, good corners, really good. And the better they are, the more you could do.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.